So if you are interested in doing a multi-layered or multicolored stencil, you're watching the right video. So let's get into it, dude. Here are a couple different examples that students have done over time. If you're not interested in taking art too seriously, it's just kind of a little hobby, then do some fan art, okay? But if you're interested in a creative career, what you want to do is take a picture of your own face, or maybe you take a picture of one of your friends modeling, or a family member, okay? Keep in mind, for this setup, if you're going to be taking your own reference photos, you got to have one singular bright light source. You want to point it on the person's face so you have some bright highlights, midtones, as well as some cast shadows. So anyway, just going to take my reference photo real quick. Another thing too is it's like, you know, if you're just looking at the camera bored, it's probably going to be a boring piece of artwork. All right? So don't be afraid to make like a real crazy face, like showing some sort of emotion or some expression or something like that. Okay? I definitely think you should try like maybe 7 to 10 different poses, angles, faces. Just try out a whole bunch of crazy stuff, dude. That's what we got to do up in here. At the very least, you don't use it and then, oh, I just got to delete it. No big deal. Anyway. We go ahead and import that into Photos. Click Edit. And we got to make it black and white. Now, your photos might look a little something like this. So all you got to do is press these little arrows all over the place. There's an arrow there. Right next to where it says Options, there will also be another arrow. Just want to open all these up. So here we go under black and white. Pull this thing around called Tone. That's going to give us some nice highlights. And messing around with the neutrals does some stuff too. The main thing is you don't want it to be like too contrasty, okay? I can show you what that kind of looks like in a minute. A lot of people be like, oh, it needs to be high contrast. They just come here to contrast and blow that over. Sometimes stuff becomes a bit difficult to read, okay? So you do want to make sure you have a couple different grays, you know, in the mix there. So anyway, look at this. You zoom in, we can see, okay, we got some nice details going on. This is a high quality photo, okay? I'm telling y'all right now, so many people all the time submitting blurry photos. It's always going to make the artwork hit less hard every single time, okay? So maybe you don't have an awesome phone. I do. I literally just took this picture, okay? My phone's fine. I'm sure someone else in the room would be willing to let you borrow their phone. You just got to ask around a little bit, okay? And it's got to be good lighting. If you're trying to take the picture in horrible lighting, that's another thing that's going to make it blurry, okay? Anyway, you want to edit it so it's like this, black and white, high contrast. Let's keep it moving. Come up here to the little magnifying glass and you want to search for Photoshop. You can go ahead and press pause. You want to make sure all the presets are adding up to what I got going on here. Now what I'll do is just drag and drop it from Photos directly into here. And then you press Enter. Very important to press Enter. I also like to just get the normal cursor on here and press the cursor. Another thing I like to do is Command S for save. There we go. It's super easy here in Photoshop. You just select the image, go up here to where it says Image, go to Adjustments, and then go to Posterize. Here in Posterize, You can get super detailed, have like, you know, like 10 all the way to 250 layers. But for what we're doing, you're going to usually be somewhere right around the number 4. Okay, this way we have bright highlights that are white, a couple grays, and the black. Anyway, once you're feeling good about this, you just come up here to File, hit Export. And I like to always export stuff to the desktop. That way it's really easy to find and boom, just show right up on the desktop. There we go. Take a look at it. There it is. Maybe drag and drop this into Photos. Then we can edit that a bit. It ended up saving like the whole artboard for some reason. I'm not very good with Photoshop, I'm not gonna lie. Just now I did a couple little things on it. There we go. That's basically what we want right there. Anyway, moving on. Next I'm gonna do is show you how to print it out onto multiple different pieces of paper. Because that's the thing with this process. If you print it out on a tiny little piece of paper, it looks horrible. There's no way you can get all these tiny little details, especially, you know, something like the eye. No way you can get all these tiny little details like that big and expect it to look good. It needs to be blown up to a certain size. So, here we go. Magnifying glass, search up Excel. Gives us an Excel spreadsheet. Look at that. That's from someone else's project. So I'll show you how it gets set up like that. Man, there's another one. All right, this is what you should be looking at right here. Something like this. So when the spreadsheet looks like this, what you want to do come up here to where it says page layout, margins, make them narrow. This is very, very important. That way we're taking up as much of the page as we can. And then up here where it says view, you switch it to page layout. So, you know, this is normal margins, wide margins, just wasting so much paper. You always want to make sure it's narrow. That way we're taking up plenty of paper. Anyway, zoom out a little bit, and then you can just drag and drop it from your photos into here, and just pull it around on this corner here. And then once it prints out, you just got to chop off the margins, tape things together to get stuff to line up. But this is how we can make images really, really big. Also, mine's a portrait, so it's stacked pretty vertical. But let's say your idea is more horizontal. You just come up here to orientation, click landscape, and that'll give you kind of some more options as to, you know, how it's spreading out around the page. Anyway, once you're done with that, you can just file and export, save. But of course I have the spinning wheel of death because I'm that close to being done with the tutorial. But anyway, man, I think we should probably find a way of either airdropping this to me or sending me the message of the document through Schoology instead of going up to the library and running through all their ink and stuff up there. So that is basically how we be doing it up in here, man. Got any questions, let me know. Other than that, peace.